Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at the Oaxis myFirst sketchbook. This is a smart LCD writing pad, and I know in terms of the design, it seems very similar to, say, the Boogie board and other low-cost LCD tablets where you can just scribble on it and then erase with a click, but what makes this one a little bit more unique is it also has built-in Bluetooth and some built-in memory on the board itself, which means it can save the notes that you're taking and later on sync them over to your phone or your tablet and preserve them for you to look back on. It even supports pressure sensitivity with the stylus, so as you're writing lighter and heavier, it can delineate between that, similar to a Wacom pen. All the benefits here of an LCD tablet remain, so it will help you save on paper, and when you're done, everything can be erased with a single click, and it also is rechargeable, including the pad that you're seeing here. So it's using micro USB, and a minimum 2-hour charge can last upwards of 50 hours of usage. Now, this is the 10-inch variant and comes in two colors, black and white. Even though it's advertised as good for kids, this is also a model that you can use for pretty much any student, whether it's college students or even business professionals. In the box, accessories include a charging cable for both the stylus and the tablet need to be charged. It is using micro USB, so this is one thing I do hope they can upgrade to Type-C. And we also get some replacement nibs for the stylus. So if this wears out over time, you can also pop in a new one, which is a pretty thoughtful accessory, just like on a Wacom pen. And finally, there is a folio case. Although it does rely on these sticky pads for you to attach the tablet instead of using something like magnets, which would have been maybe a little bit more clean. But for what it is, there's also a side pocket that you can use to store, let's say, some paper, documents, or some business cards. Overall, it looks pretty attractive, I'd say, and everything closes up just like a regular book when you're on the go. The frame is constructed out of a polycarbonate plastic, but overall it feels solid enough. Now we do have just the Oaxis logo and then 3 keys at the bottom. You can long hold on the middle here to turn it on, and there's a small LED light here that will turn green once it is activated. And there's also a erase key where if you double tap 2 times, it will wipe the screen. How this technology works is basically you're literally pushing around pixels on the display, and if you want to then reset everything, that's the only part that takes a little bit of electricity for everything to be reset. So in order to demo that, if we tap twice, again, it just goes away just like that. A little bit reminiscent of e-ink displays in that sense, where if it's showing a static image like this, it can sit on here forever. By itself, it doesn't have necessarily a backlight. So if you are in a completely dark space, it will also be harder to read. But if you have a little bit of light, in fact, the brighter it gets, it's actually the easier to see what is being written on the display. We also have a save key, so this will temporarily save whatever you've written into the tablet's memory, and the next time that you sync it with your phone, it will pop those over. Edge here features a lock button, so that will prevent anything from getting erased. Very bottom here has the micro USB port there for charging. Stylus here is also constructed out of a polycarbonate plastic, but feels pretty good in terms of the weight and the ergonomics. There are 2 keys on here, which interestingly are only triggered when you get close enough to the tablet, and it allows you to do things like change the thickness of the brush stroke in the digital version of the notes that you're taking on your phone. So we'll show you that later on in this video. The nub here for the stylus can also be popped out just by pulling along and also replaced. Again, it's pressure sensitive on here. There's another small LED light, and to recharge the stylus, there is another micro USB port there on the very top. Now taking a closer look at the companion app, it's also where the fun really begins. And from here, you're able to, again, connect to your sketchbook, and afterwards you can see all of the notes that it's previously recorded and taken. And I'm also able to play back these notes in real time, so you can see it start to scribble along. I can also fast forward, for example, to speed up the notes, so you can see the order that were taken. Back onto the main home screen, we're able to tap on plus to go through a few different options. So for example, we can use the real-time drawing here, and this will allow us to basically connect to the board here, and after it's connected, you can then start writing, and whatever you're seeing will be previewed in real time on your phone's display as well. So here are some tutorials that tell you how to access the menus of the app. Let's exit out of that, and now we have just the canvas. Let's begin to write. So I'm going to say hello here right on top, and there we have it. We see it popping along on the display of our phone. Let's try OS Reviews, And you can see that's a pretty fluid experience in terms of as you're writing, there's really not much lag or delay going on at all. And you can see that the mouse here, or the cursor, does pop on here even as you are hovering a little bit above the display itself. So it is really similar to the aforementioned Wacom pen or a Galaxy S Pen. Recognizes where you are on the board, and then when you actually press down, that's when the stroke actually begins. Let's press a little bit harder right now, and you'll get a harder line. Result is you do get some pretty accurate looking shading, and also the handwriting is very natural looking, almost like if you're using a real pen and paper. I can also create, again, sharper lines as well. Let's say if I'm writing a V, and you can see that's still captured really well. Super easy to document things and also to draw different diagrams, as well as to scribble and even kind of sign things on a document. And it does have relative palm rejection in the sense that only the, again, part that is accessible with the stylus is picked up and digitized, which also means if you are, let's say, writing with another object or using your fingernails, this will not get transferred into the digital notes. It has to be the stylus that is going to get recorded on the app. Clear this page. I can either, again, press on the board 2 times or even do that from the app. So if I long hold here on the erase key and tap on confirm, now you can see everything just gets instantly wiped. Pretty cool, and again, surprisingly responsive in terms of I'm not really noticing any latency or anything like that. Now let's try again the brush in terms of the thickness. So if I'm going to start off here just with a very light kind of stroke, and I'm right now using one of the smaller brushes in terms of the size, I can now tap on this key here to basically increase the size of the brush. So if I'm using 5, now it will look like this, a little bit of a larger brush. I can keep on pressing to further increase it, and overall, again, pretty responsive just to click along. Press on it again to continuously increase the size there of the pen that I'm using. You can also highlight things. So now if I have a certain word, let's say this region I want to highlight, I can also tap over that, and that's basically the highlighter function instead. It's not going to be quite as heavy, but of course on your digital notepad it's going to look a little bit more like a scribble, but overall still works pretty well. And you can also change the color of the digital notes as well. So let's say I want to use blue instead, and I can tap on OK, and now everything that I write will be in this blue color. And in terms of these particular sketches, you are able to also edit it directly on your phone. So if I don't have the tablet with me, I can also use this to scribble something out to further clarify. The back key can also erase things one step at a time, although the tablet itself doesn't have a partial erase function. So everything that you write here will stay until you fully erase the entire board. If for some reason you don't want to transfer over the more accurate digital copy, or for other, let's say, regular LCD boards that don't have that Bluetooth syncing, you can also take an image and it will just try to save that instead also to your album, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having this advanced connectivity. Let's try to demo the process of saving something on the tablet itself while we are not connected to our phone. I can say something like, "Hello world," and afterwards I'm just going to tap on save. And now coming over to our phone, I can tap on the plus key, tap on retrieve works. It will kind of sync over Bluetooth now, and after it's found the uploaded content, you can tap on done, confirm, and we now see that message popped along there. You are able to also tap here to change the brush size and the pressure as well as the sensitivity yourself. So whether you want it to be just easier for it to delineate between how hard you're pressing can all be customized, as well as check out the battery percentage remaining on the tablet. So there we have it. That's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the Oaxis sketchbook. Again, the concept of having an LCD writing tablet, as first popularized by Boogie Board, has been around for a number of years now. This technology in general has always been pretty cool in my opinion, in terms of it's a great replacement for a regular pen and paper. It doesn't actually use physical ink. The tech behind it is fascinating, and it's also surprisingly accessible, but now it's in the form of having this syncing capability with pressure sensitivity that you can use on your phone to track things and preserve things, which just makes it even more versatile. So you can check out more details if interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.